Good day everyone, this is Jessica Pasha and I'm going to discuss about stages of prenatal development. Human development is a mix of cognitive, physical, and psychological development is organized into various stages based on age. Prenatal development occurs in the first 40 weeks before the child's birth, which is influenced heavily by genetics. Child development is something that is believed to start from infancy. However, the pregnancy development stages are also a crucial mode of the development. There are three parts of prenatal stages. First is the germinal stage, the first and second week after the fertilization. From the third all to the 8th week is embryonic stage, and the period from the 9th week to birth is the fetal period. So let's proceed first in the germinal stage. The germinal stage of pregnancy starts at the time of conception, when the sperm and the egg combine to form zygote. So it starts from the fertilization when the egg and the sperm meet in one fallopian tube. The egg that is fertilized is called zygote. After some hours of fertilization, the single-celled zygote makes a passage down from the fallopian tube and reaches the uterus. So, as you can see in the picture, the zygote is going to the uterus to grow. The cell division starts 24 to around 36 hours after the fertilization. The zygote divides itself into two cells through mitosis and then doubles itself. Half of the zygote will not survive more than 2 weeks though. Once the 8 cell point is reached, the cell starts to differentiate on various characteristics which determine the kind of cell it will finally become. When the cell starts to multiply, they separate into separate masses. The outer cell becomes placenta and the inner cell becomes embryo. So you need to take note about this. The cell division occurs fast, and this is a week's journey from the fallopian tube towards the uterine wall. The cells develop into a blastocyst, which is made of 3 layers. Each of these layers develops into a different human body structure. The ectoderm. The ectoderm becomes the nervous system and the skin. And the endoderm becomes the respiratory and the digestive system. And the mesoderm becomes the skeletal and muscle system. The blastocysts then reach the ureter and attach themselves to the uterine wall through implantation. This process happens when the cells sit in the uterine lining. The connective blood vessels and the membranes get formed, which offers nourishment. Implantation is not a surefire or automatic process. When the implantation takes place, the hormonal changes stop the period cycle, leading to many physical changes. In the embryo period, the cell mass known as the embryo is formed. This is start of the 3rd week, which is the embryonic period start. The cell mass becomes distinct and looks like a human in the stage. The embryonic stage is important because it plays a major part in the child's development. The neural tube is formed 4 weeks after fertilization. This tube develops into CNS, including the brain and the spinal cord. The early development signs in the neural tube consist of the 2 ridges and emerge from every side of the neural plate. More ridges keep forming now, and once the tube is formed, it it begins to develop into brain vesicles. The lid starts to form in the 4th week, then led by the ears, mouth, nose, eyes, and etc. In the 5th week, the arms and the legs appear. In the 8th week, the major organs are formed. When the neurons are formed, they move to different brain parts. Once they reach the right location, they connect with other neural cells. So let us proceed to fetal stage. The fetal stage of prenatal development lasts from week 9 until birth. During this stage, the fetus will continue to develop organs including the brain and spinal cord. Between weeks 9 and 12, the fetus will begin to make movements with their arms and legs. It's also during this stage, the sex organ will begin to differentiate. Gender can usually be determined around 18 to 20 weeks to ultrasound or earlier if you require genetic testing. The sex organs are formed in the 3rd month, and by the end of this month, all body parts are formed. The fetus grows in length and weight, and the major part of its physical growth will happen in the latter part of the pregnancy. The 3rd month of the prenatal period ends with the trimester. The heartbeat goes strong and the other bodily systems develop. The fetus also increases 6 times in size. The central nervous system and the brain also get very responsive at this stage. The brain matures and functions as that of a newborn. From the 7 months until the fetus birth, it develops and puts on weight and prepares to live outside the womb. The lungs contract and expand. The fetus birth, it develops and puts on weight and prepares to live outside the womb. The lungs contract and expand and prepare the muscles to breathe. And that's all. Thank you, and let us proceed to the next reporter.